gave the idea, I should thank him for that. We should have started. Why not? Isn't it? So let's. I think the main, obviously, the course we talked about decarbonization, industrial power generation. Okay. So I think what I want to do is an introduction, know each other, tell about myself, and I would like to know what you are doing and how we can use this event to. This is kind of beginning to start more collaboration and more discussion. So you have seen that one, life cycle assessment. Obviously, that's my expertise, but I will discuss more at the moment. And some people say environmental footprint, but let's go. So this is not module 1 started not yet. Okay, so module will start after the intro. I think that's why it's better to start early. So what is this course about? I would like to know who am I, why do you care or bother to listen to me? What is credibility of my expertise that you will be listening to this course? What's the motivation? What will be the focus of this course? That's what I will be talking about. And obviously other colleagues, Dr. Farooq Mandal and Dr. Gorai, and others will participate. And I know there are some participants coming maybe from tomorrow. They are already very high quality experts in the room who would like to utilize it. And I'm sure all of you also have a lot of experience and would like to know and learn from each other. That's the objective. And what's the expectation and what next? By the way, that's beautiful. Actually, that was I was last week I was in Brunei. I traveled for international work. So it is one of the best hotel I've ever been. It's called the Royal, I think it's called Empire Brunei. It was 7-star hotel. Brunei, a country. Do you know anyone? Borneo Island, and that. So I think that was 7-star hotel before Dubai came about, etc. Because Brunei king is very rich, I guess.
He was one of the wealthiest at the.
Sorry?
He was one of the wealthiest person in the world.
Yeah, that's right. Something like that. Anyway, I don't have too much idea, but I had some work and I'll probably explain. So this is a hotel has its own beach kind of, so it's beautiful. I was there for a business and they gave me an upgrade of the hotel. Said, all you are doctor, scientist, you came to help our country, why don't you see that's good. So it was a beautiful room and you see nice big like this sort of wall with a full glass window, you can see the sea. Anyway, that's anyway. So why I'm showing this because I guess well, the course we are going to talk about more environmental aspect. Pristine, green, and not only Brunei, even if you see around, I was in a guest house, I see, I was telling the colleagues in the morning, just a little while ago. So you see, in the Western countries, that's different kind of way. I live in Melbourne, in Australia. These sort of places reminds me of my, because I grew up in this kind of country, I'll tell about it a little bit more. So, raindrops, the peace and the cleanliness and the greenery. We want to keep this, and to keep this, we need to obviously better environment. And sometimes I say that this course about to make the world a better place. And then why it is so, we'll probably explain more because we're decarbonizing, we are getting better, cleaner air. But I know industry we need steel, we need power because otherwise nothing, the lights are on. So we need all these ones and we take it granted. We just put the plug in and we say, oh, electricity coming, but we have no idea where that is coming from. You know very well. Ordinary people, they have no idea, right? So that's all about we'll be discussing. How to make it cleaner, better, using technology. So that's, and we would measure the impact, obviously. I mean, most of us probably engineers, and if there is enough quantity, then we can make sense. If there is no quantified information, we must be. So that's what we'll be talking about. Now let's move on. So I come from not far from here, maybe 5 hours driving. If there was no border, other side of the border. So I sort of was born in a place called Nodia district, old Nodia district. It's called Kapashana. Anyway, that's 2 kilometers from the border. But I left many years ago. I think I graduated in Chicago University, and then I went to University of Wales in '96, so quite a while. That time I left, and then I finished my master's in UK, in Wales, and then I moved to Sydney because people like us, we go abroad, we try to study, and you look for a PhD scholarship. So I got a scholarship, and I studied science, and then my PhD supervisor, he's a professor now. So he's a long time ago, he's a professor, he was the head of chemical engineering in Sydney. So he said that you need to be an engineer, you need to study engineering to do a PhD. And that time I was looking for a scholarship desperately. I said, whatever, I'll do it. There are no choices. I got a scholarship that's good enough. So I made it. So I finished that in 2002. Quite a while. I did 23 years ago, PhD. I finished. Then I got a job in New Zealand Forest Research Institute. New Zealand is another country, interesting country. I lived around. So obviously from England, grew up in Bangladesh, came to Sydney, and then New Zealand 3 years. And then because New Zealand is a small place, my family was struggling, so I wanted to move back to Australia. I came from Sydney. So got a job in Melbourne. So CSRO is like CSIR in India, as I said. That we've got 40 labs around the country. We have got 60 locations, at least 6-7 big laboratories. So one laboratory in Clayton. That's where I started my career. And lucky that, to be honest, whatever research I wanted to do, I got the opportunity to do that. I've not finished everything. Research has no end, as you know. But I think I'm quite satisfied. 23 years since my PhD, I've done good work. I can obviously, I'm saying that I know everything, not like that, but whatever I've done through my colleagues, students, 20 PhD students finished with me. So a lot of expertise, I can see that they are contributing, and I'm very happy to see that. And probably I'll share those experiences. Maybe useful for you, may not be useful for you, but at least we can know each other. That's the way I'm thinking. So technology evaluation, that's my kind of expertise. I'm a adjunct professor at Swinburne University and RMIT University and Monash University. So many other universities I work very closely because I give scholarships to the PhD students and strong relationship with various universities. I'm not sure whether you know it's called Australian, that 15,000 professionals in the world, and I think a handful of them, maybe a couple hundred or 300 fellows. So I was quite a bit one or the youngest fellow in Australia in Auckland, this is mining, Institute of Mining and Metallurgy. And also I'm a fellow of the Australian Institute of Energy. So since last maybe a decade, I'm working on the hydrogen energy area, and I'll talk about it more. So I think that's a beautiful photo, isn't it? Anyway, so that was quite a bit of, because that was 2016, and it's called Faces of CSRO program. So one of the campaign was, you guys are scientists, but we want to know what you do outside. So a photographer came, and it's a kind of day event. I think we have to post this or that. Anyway, that was good for me. So not so I'm sort of I'm from, as I said, just this side of the border, and then Durgapur is here, not far. So my father, my mother, my son, when he was young, so he is now 22-year-old young man. He is just finishing university this year. My father, so 3 generations you can see. I think so I'm sort of, whenever I come to India, I go to Bangladesh. When I go to Bangladesh, sort of try to see them. Actually, I've got a daughter also, and she was born in Wales when I was there, and she's now a doctor, medical doctor in Australia. She's a cardiologist. So I think you can see that on some of the picture why I'm sharing, because we will be spending 4 or 5 days, we need to know each other, I guess. So that's actually my school. When a few years ago, I went back before COVID, I think. A young man, 18-year-old, when I did my college, Rajshahi College. I don't know whether you heard about that college name. Actually, that was the second most reputed college in the British India after Presidency College in Kolkata. So that's still very British kind of. So I was there in that period of time, and then a few years ago, actually, I got a chance to go to Rajshahi after a while, because I often travel to Bangladesh that much. So I took a chance to that, and that's my university. Actually, wherever I go during holiday or even sometimes like course like that, I give course on life cycle assessment. So that's I'm giving probably at least half a decade probably. So whenever I go, so the university said that we are organizing all the university teachers in Bangladesh, please give a course. I said that's fine. So I took my son to see my university. So that's the university. Anyway, so what I do, as I said, I introduce myself scientist for development. I use science and innovation for development. And because of that, I do international work and beautiful places. As I said, 23 years, I'm privileged to see many people, many places, many laboratories, And yeah, I'm very grateful. So Korea is a beautiful country. We have got 15 years. I think Korea is the probably country I have visited most, maybe at least a dozen times after India. Maybe India also quite frequently again. Last time that was actually I'm not sure I have changed too much. Maybe I have changed. That is 2012 actually. They were elected 2012. So you know it's called International Mineral Processing Congress. If you heard about IMPC. Have you heard of that IMPC? So IMPC is called Olympic Games for Mineral Processing Specialists. Because that time I started my career as a kind of, I did my PhD in chemical engineering, so process engineering. In Australia, a lot of people work in the mineral industry and mineral processing. So you know IMPC countries bid for. So usually Australia had 2010 in Brisbane. A lot of Indian colleagues were there, and Dr. Pradeep, his name is Pradeep, I think his name is a Tata, isn't it? Dr. Pradeep. So he bid for IMPC for a long time. He was trying. Let's get in India. They were not allowing because I know that chair, Dr. Robin Betterham, who was the chief scientist of Australia and who was ex-CSRO, and now Carl Fox, you know, he was also my colleague. He used to speak. His group was beside me in CSRO when I started. He's an expert in iron ore area. So Dr. Pradeep bought 2012. They accepted that it will be India. So the INPC was in Delhi. Ashoka Hotel, is that Ashoka? I think. Is there any hotel called Ashoka Hotel?
Yes.
Anyway, so that was, so lots of people came from all over the world, and from CSR I think we get probably 12 people. We had a lot of work with NMDC that time. So anyway, I had a chance to get the whole group to Accra because everybody wanted to speak it. So that's here, time flies, already in 2012 that was. So that time I made started my Indian connection. Actually before that year, 2011, I came to NNL, Jamshedpur. I was a training scientist for NNL. And then when I came to that IMPC, I started building relationship with ISM, Indian School of Mines. Professor Sumanta Bhattacharya, he is retired now. So anyway, so then obviously, various places, not for Hollywood, not for acting, I go for conferences and I get a chance to see around that, usually TMS, if you know about TMS, it's called USA, the Minerals, Materials and Metals Society. Actually, Abash was last year in Las Vegas, and that was an interesting one. I've never been to Las Vegas. Because of TMS conference, I'm an organizer, one of the, it's called Environmental Technology and CO2 Management. That's one one of the organizers, that's why I go every year almost to, except the COVID times, so TMS, that's why a lot of time. And that's again 2011 maybe that I went to, was spending some time in Calcutta. So anyway, so that's last time 2017 I came in India. That was my biggest India event because it's called Australia-India Business Week or Australian Business Week in India kind of 2017, and our two ministers were led that, Australian ministers led that delegation. And because of my little bit Indian connection is growing and they picked me, they kind of selected me. That was a competitive program. So I was part of that delegation. So when I came, we met a lot of ministers here. I went to that, what they call Secretariat building in Hindi, what they call?
Sachivalaya.
Sachivalaya. So Sachivalaya, so yeah, it's quite a bit of, security and etc. But anyway, it was a good experience. I met the secretary for the Ministry of Mines. So with our trade minister, and this, I think this gentleman was the NTPC. NTPC is it National Thermal, or was it very likely was the MD or what was the head of NTPC? Chairman. Maybe I don't think he was chairman, but anyway, he was a very senior executive. So we had MOU, and I was the kind of Australian representative, and who was NTPC. So we had MOU, but we didn't do much work since then. Quite a while ago. Yeah. And then obviously with our minister, sorry, everyone okay? Okay, so this one. That's Ramalundam, isn't it? Ramalundam or Kotalundam in the South India coal mine, Singaradi Colliery, I think we visited that time. This is in Kolkata. He was the MD for, must be the copper, Industrial Copper Limited. So that's, yeah. So we had a lot of interactions. Obviously, because I come from Bangladesh, I had a very strong link with Bangladesh former science minister, actually previous government. I had a very good relation. I provided them 30 scholarships, PhD scholarships. I managed, and that's one of the biggest highlight of my career. And some of them are continuing, and so a lot of exchanges. Australia, sort of I try to use resources to support. Hopefully, right. So so I think what I do, I try to support this kind of activity, taking resources from Australia and helping young students in our subcontinent, because I feel like I am indebted. I studied here, almost paid nothing, so this is the time to pay back. So that's why Avash was the 1 year in CSRO in Australia, so I funded that program. Actually, I have funded, I was telling the other colleague that nearly 20 projects in various parts of India, various IITs, NITs, and that is another satisfying part, that I, through my own hand, a lot of cash money came from Australia to India to develop talents, and they are so good. I mean, when you give them opportunity, and I mean, they are very motivated, driven. Small bits you give to make it big, so and then you can go further. So very rewarding program. I believe, is that okay? Recording is fine. I can continue, right?
Yes.
So anyway, so I sort of that's program sort of continuing. So that's called India Australia Minerals Scholar Network. So as I said, that my Indian connection was growing, and due to some reason, I was doing a bit of this money, that money, not much really. So because there's a council called Australia-India Council, I used to bid for grant or apply for grant and get not much money, maybe 40,000, 50,000. And then suddenly, I think how many years ago, 2023, the government decided to allocate nearly $100 million. Later it reduced though. But anyway, at least substantial money for two areas, green steel and critical minerals, and focusing Australia and India. And then one of my boss, senior director in CSR, said that it seems like kind of I was handpicked. Oh, you are the person, you have got a Indian connection, why don't you lead this program? So it was a really privilege for me. I invested small bits and suddenly got that a big amount of money. I was the kind of manager for that. And then by now I have got, I think, obviously NIT Durgapur, 2 projects. I've got IIT Dhanbad, couple of projects, IIT Bombay, IIT Madras. I think Professor Shukla will be here as far as I know. Who else? I think we funded IIT Hyderabad, IISc, Bangalore, various other, I cannot remember, at least 20 projects, mostly PhD student, postdocs, internship, bring them in Australia for 1 year in Australia. So, but I think through this program we just sort of gave opportunity to connect people. So essentially, actually my idea, I told, okay, we have got a lot of funding from government, why don't we invest something for talent development, so that one talent means you connect at least 3-4 professionals around, and that is really achieving like that. This is a pretty good program, I would say. So I think that's going on, and so I used to do a lot of work when I started. Most of the things I learned on the job, essentially, because I did science, chemical engineering, and whenever challenge given to me, I tried to utilize it. A lot of my work used to come from South America, Chile. CSIRO had an office in Chile. You may have heard about there, the copper producer, world's largest copper producer. So I had a lot of work. I visited Santiago, political capital. You know, Chile is an interesting country. You have got Andes mountain and very thin countries in this country. So I remember I took a flight from Santiago to Antofagasta, a place called very near, called Atacama Desert, and never rains there. So most of the mines, so I took an window seat on the right side of the Andes mountain, and I was going to that was probably northern part. The south is South America, South City, Santiago is south. So you can see that mines are on the top of the mountains, and what they do, they obviously, some of you have got steel and power industry experience, but power industry requires a lot of copper. Copper is the media for transporting electrons. So, so I think you can hear me probably from the back. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. So what they do, they mine copper, they make slurry, and that slurry through the mountain is mainly, you say that 600 meter, 400, 500 meter, 1,000, 4,000, 5,000 meter high mountain, and then those slurries come through, that flotation process. If you have a mining or metallurgy background, the flotation, you get a concentrate. So basically they send the slurry after flotation and then come to filter plant. Most of the filter plant along the coast use big filter plants and big warehouses. They extract the water, the stuff, and then put in the ship, and ship goes to Korea, Japan, because that's the major export. Sometimes they use local there. Fascinating country, and that country country completely transformed its economy, they said copper, only one metal. So mining changed some economy in the world, really. And also, India is producing a lot of steel and still going up. Is that later? Oh, yeah. Is that connected now or not? Will that work?
No.
Just BE. Okay, no, that's fine. No problem. That's fine. That's fine. So I think I was talking about, that's why I was talking about Chile. And so as I said that I used to get a lot of work from Chile, South America. And then our, global, within the last 2 years, global geopolitics changed dramatically. You can see that, right? Everybody is talking about Trump tariff and so many things. Countries are working for themselves, more nationalistic. Some countries benefited from that. I can give you an example. Indonesia, they 2010, they are world's largest nickel producer at the moment. So I don't know, most of you, probably, how many of you have mining background or mining industry experiences? Can you put your hands up here? 1, 2, 3. And majority of, I guess, power industry. Yeah? Can you hands up who are in the power industry? Yes, so looks like power industry. But you can see that a lot of people do not realize power and mining is so much intricately interrelated. So power industry is not the input only for mining industry or mineral industry or mineral metallurgy. When I say mining, it's mining, mineral processing, metallurgy, all in one basket, you can tell. But also a lot of materials required by the power industry comes from the mines. It's like say your copper, your nickel, your structure, and even now energy transition. That a lot of countries are working on net zero. I know India is 2070, Australia will call it net zero by 2050. So, so those links, so that often not realized by people, that even the politicians, even those people who are decision makers, that it's such an interlinked kind of connection. Two industry are really like glued together. So that, so Indonesia, what I was going to say, that nationalized the nickel production. They said that we are not sending any more nickel ores or concentrate. If you get nickel from Indonesia, you come and set up a plant and make nickel metal. So that's what Indonesia just blanket bar. And everybody, we were thinking about, oh, are they mad? They will not get any money and nobody is going to set up a plant there and they will lose all the economy will go down, etc. But actually it happened opposite. A lot of Chinese investment came, big nickel refinery investment was made. They are now the largest producer of nickel. Actually, they killed our Australian nickel industry now because we cannot compete against them. So, but anyway, so this sort of nationalization, it's done in Chile. So, Codelco, which is the Chilean copper producer, have done a lot of work for Codelco as a consultant kind of work. So that South America became a little bit less important for Australia, and then because of our Asian kind of connection, and actually Australia is, we call it, tell them that Asia is our future. We need to have good relation with Asians. And another, you have heard of Asian countries, so it's Southeast Asia essentially. So now a lot of focus Southeast Asia and then obviously India. Australia, India, bilateral relation, bilateral activities are now at the highest. So actually one of the diplomats is saying that it's like never they've seen that so close relation. Alright, now I can get back, is it? So I think I came last time in Durgapur, not only Durgapur, in a school of mines. As I said, I developed a lot of international collaboration. So one day, before in Afghanistan, that before Taliban came, Afghanistan, the government, because the government was promised, Afghan government was promised by Australia to train their officials on mining and energy essentially, so one-on-one kind of course to do that. And then our Australian government couldn't do that because we cannot bring Afghan people in Australia and they cannot send us to Afghanistan because of the security reasons. So one day I got a call from our foreign affairs that you help us, Dr. Nandal. I heard that you have a lot of good Indian connection. So I spoke with the Indian School of Mines. Okay, let's do that together. So actually 5 bases we are supposed to train, and that was Afghans used to come to Kolkata, and we Australian expert used to fly to Kolkata, and our Indian School of Mines colleague and NIT also Singapore was part of that, and that's why each batch was 25 officials. They are probably reporting to the ministers or developing mines. You know, in Afghanistan also, lapis lazuli. Have you heard of that? That a lot of gems, and actually they have a lot of lithium, a lot of iron ore, and some other specialty minerals. So we trained them, and that's why I first time came in Singapore. At that time, Professor Anmosu was the director, and then we had a conference. So I'm sort of familiar with NIT Singapore that from that time. And then, so that's what I was talking about with the, I think, I get back. So that's Afghan officials, one lesson, two lessons, and then suddenly Taliban power. That's that program gone, and because we don't have different regulation now. So this is one of the premier. I do also do the social activity in Melbourne. There is a school called Bengali Language and Cultural School because I'm sort of Bengali background, so I was the president for this school, and that's why I had to meet. Is the premier, or like the chief minister of Victoria, and a lot of other sort of political connections we need to maintain, because I would like to promote our multicultural kind of values and multicultural promotion in Australia. So I actually recruit a lot of scientists from Indian background, Bangladeshi backgrounds, students. I try to within my capacity as much as I can do. I can give the opportunities I try to. So that was talking about Chile, South Korea. A lot of work because they are very good. Our relationship is going on for 15 years now, mostly on the electronic waste and recovery of critical minerals and things like that. So critical minerals is important, and also that is ISM and Professor Sumudra Bhattacharya, and I think that Professor Murthy maybe or one of the processing professor, I cannot remember. That's during that 2012 I'm talking about. So just last week, actually last whole week, I was in Brunei. And in Brunei, there was an ASEAN, because I was saying that last several years I'm working, or maybe a decade, working in the area of hydrogen. I lead the hydrogen team in CSIRO now, and so that there was a lot of interest in ASEAN countries. So I'm sort of being an Asian person, grew up in Bangladesh. I didn't know that Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Bali. Bali is obviously part of Indonesia. What else? Cambodia and Laos, two other countries, very, very interesting. And I visited because of the World University, and Australian government has a lot of interest. It's very strong Indian connection. Actually, if you go to the temple, whether it is Buddhist temple or Hindu temple in Bali, it's all India. Somehow, I don't know, we lost that connection, but when I go there, I feel like, oh, they don't know that much about probably that it comes from India, probably. They know that, but if you see some words and everything else, you can relate to yourself. So very, very nicely, yeah. So anyway, so now increasingly those countries have implemented $1 million project in Brunei, in Laos, to develop their mining industry and also hydrogen industry. To mining and energy, these are my area of work. So this is our high commissioner in Brunei. So because I was last week, there was a business conference, so mainly ASEAN and all the ASEAN people came there, and we discussed about it. And so I offered a course like this in University of Brunei, Dar es Salaam. So I had no idea about Brunei. It's a kind of Sharia country, but they are very British. They're very wealthy country. It's like Singapore under kind of Islamic rule, but and also I have a lot of expatriate Indian work there. And actually I visited one of the fertilizer plant, the Brunei fertilizer industry, one of the biggest industry on the island. The chief technology officer is a Bengali person, Shabdajit Mohammed. I said, where you are from? He said, somewhere in Kolkata. Anyway, so wherever I go, I find people from India. So I'm not an academic, I'm not a professor, I'm a sort of scientist, and although I love teaching, and that's why a lot of universities ask me to offer a course, I offer this kind of course for Singapore University, postgraduate students, they are mechanical engineering essentially. And also, mainly I involved with a lot of scholarship program, fundraising various funds in Australia for providing PhD scholarships. That's one of my, I like it, manage funding, securing funding, and giving to others. So one time, 23 years ago, or when I finished PhD, but another 4 years ago, I got a scholarship. I was looking for a scholarship myself. I was desperate to get a scholarship and do a PhD. And that is different satisfaction. But giving one after another a scholarship, that's another satisfaction, managing one after another funding. So in the gold mine, so I used to teach also last 12 years, mineral processing, mining engineers in Australia, in Monash University. There's a course called mineral processing. So I was the coordinator for that program, and that's why a lot of students, I think, have completed their graduation and work in Australian mining industry, and some of them Indian background also. So that's Durgapur last time, our director, hopefully I will meet him sometimes, or he's completely on holiday. I will miss him, but anyway, we had time last time. One of the other academic professor, Akshay Paul, in NIT, so NIT Allahabad essentially. So I offered a course like that a couple of years ago. So I said, yeah, what's the mission? My mission is that use science and innovation for development. That's what I do, and why I do that. You are familiar with this, right? Sustainable development goals. I guess those people who are with that, I always, when I did my PhD, that how I can utilize this knowledge and experience for development of the country, particularly in these areas, in these countries where development is required. And that's what we have been like the country of origin or country of birth in Bangladesh, and actually Indian subcontinent. I consider that as a kind of South Indian. I stay outside Bangladesh for a long, long time. I feel like this is my part of home. So I think particularly I'm most interested in affordable clean energy because I do work for hydrogen energy. There is another sustainable cities and responsible consumption and production. And I believe there is another one with the industry innovation and infrastructure. So those sort of kind of areas I feel Alright, thank you, thanks. Please feel comfortable to have a seat. No problem. Thanks. If you need any help here, the product can help. Okay. So I think what I was going to talk about that in the development field, if you look at, because I was noticing the evolution of that field, I think this is the best thing came about. A lot of things we had in the Millennium Development Goal, this and that, SDG. If we can implement this, I think this will be world definitely a better place. I heard that Japan has made a lot of progress on SDG. Some countries have really achieved many of these SDG indicators. Some countries we know, I know countries like our parts of the world, say India, Bangladesh, South Asian countries, we have a lot of constraints obviously, but still a lot of progress has been made in economic development. And I feel like economic development is one of the development which will kind of help to achieve the other targets. So far what I spoken, does that make sense, or you are okay? Yeah. Comfortable? Okay? Let's keep on. So I don't know, I just wanted to know, maybe let's put that in. Maybe at this point, what would I like to know? I would like you to introduce yourself, okay? And tell why you are here, what you want to know from this course. You may have some, Dr. Arup's nice brochure and etc. And people, we need to sell the program, we say we'll teach this, and you sign up and come. But I want to know what you do, your day-to-day job. So introduce yourself, your name, what's your role, what company you work for, and what's your expectation, what do you think, because we have not done the course yet, we're just starting. So maybe we'll start from calling here. So please tell you yourself and yeah.
Hi, good morning all. My name is Veera Brahmachari. I represent JSW Steel, Vijayanagar, Karnataka plant. I've been post-COVID, during COVID times we had, it was very difficult to run the plant with the full population. We could not manage full attendance. So what we used to do inside the plant is 100 courses, online courses. So decarbonization, CCUs, renewables, SDGs, these are the one of those things I was doing. So maybe I could navigate through some content to some extent, but not to the extent of getting certified. And I am also one of the lead in implementing these technologies. I am a researcher on decarbonization and hydrogen technologies. So getting things on and it's getting implemented. Right? Very soon we are going to inject hydrogen into DRI. Solar and power connected very well to our plant. It's India's largest steel manufacturing facility of 18 million ton capacity. It's a very bold step to run such a giant plant with solar and renewables. Of course, the management is keen on doing it. We had collaborations with FMG.
FMG is the Australian company.
Yeah.
They are also introducing hydrogen, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what's your name again, sir?
My name is Veera Brahmachari.
Veera.
In short, people call me Acharya.
Acharya. Thanks.
So, we had collaboration with Fortescue, SMS Group, and other companies who are actually delivering commercially viable decarbonization technologies. So far, we have not ventured into CC because it's going to be uneconomical, is what our management is saying. And it was a lot of time to invest on solar and renewables because it's a field where you don't know the risks and volatilities. So it was a board step though we could manage. The fluctuation will be so heavy. Sometimes wind is high, sometimes solar is very low, and if they randomly with the power plant, if thundering happens, and a lot of risks. But still, it's encouraging. And
But a hybrid system is not.
yeah, no, it's there. It's there. We have controlling automatic system. God says so far nothing happened except one outage and I landed. So yeah, it's very interesting. I traveled right from Bellary to this place to meet Prasahan and then participate along with you all. I hope this will be a very interesting session. Hope to have a certificate.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, so you can see a wealth of knowledge, and we also would like to tap on your experiences. So thanks a lot. Yeah. So hoping, yeah, I mean, as you said, yeah, please sit. Yeah, sit. So as you said, that it's challenging. I mean, if you drive in a freeway, it's like I think running qualified power plant is like that. You drive on a freeway, not much fluctuation, but where is renewables, it's a different world. So and that's I'll show you some of the complexities and how countries are handling. And actually, FMC has invested, or at least announced investment, $50 billion in hydrogen industry. Suddenly, no one to 1,200 people assembled. A lot of my colleagues, actually, I was tapped on my shoulder also that we want to work. I said, probably not now because I'm public sector R&D person. I don't want to work with companies. So anyway, that's a different mindset. But yeah, obviously both roles, industry and the public sector, we want to work together. And I know that FMC, so that hype has been reduced a bit because people are coming to reality. Everything something comes of hydrogen is silver bullet. It is not, but hydrogen has a lot of advantages. And so I can confidently say any question you can ask me about hydrogen, I'll be able to answer. So, well, not necessarily because not only myself, I've got a lot of colleagues behind me. If I cannot answer, they will be able to answer because they're working hydrogen for a long time. Anyway, so that's maybe even you. Sorry.
Hello everyone, myself is Saraswat.
So please listen to others because I would like to come back. Then yeah. So let's.
Myself Saraswat Ghosh. I am from DPC, actually MT based. I am working in actually as the main person to generate the electricity in the control room to generate the thermal electricity. And I am working in past 13 years. From since 2012. So that is all.
Thank you. Thanks. And what's the expectation from the course?
Sir, to get the certification and get
that,
better reachment of about the program.
Sure, definitely. I think hopefully we'll get.
There is one problem that we have faced actually recently for the past 2 or 3 years with the development of the renewables. The thermal is going down, and in the middle of the day, around this is going around 50% of the maximum. That is a challenging situation because that is not designed to be the running in 50% taking a source.
We will manage that. Yeah.
We
I
have
think
to manage it with
I'll
concentration.
give some tips. Hopefully, what I think, but obviously we'll get. We're getting more experience. By the way, you are going to give certificate, right, Akash? And that certificate will account for professional development, something like that. Yeah, hopefully. But another thing, to certify, we call it certified LCA practitioner. That's another thing. But I will encourage you. We'll give you enough flavor that so that you explore yourself. Get there. It's a quite demanding area. A lot of my students, PhDs, they do freelancing and they get good money. It's a not something you can Google carbon calculator. There will be maybe thousands, but 99% not easy, not useful, I would say. So good to understand this topic. Please, Nancy. Sorry about that.
Hello everyone, I am Naval Kishore. I am working as a control room engineer, which I am a power plant. I am posted in how to reduce the carbon emissions is a globally challenge. So I have joined this course of certification. How to reduce the globally carbon emissions.
For the power plants.
Yeah.
You want to know more operations, but we need to learn from you too.
Yeah.
But there are some tricks and strategies are there.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Because nowadays our electricity is depending on 70% thermal power plant. So first of all, we should replace the coal. How to generate electricity other than coal in the thermal power plant?
Okay, I'll speak some of these things. Maybe hydrogen.
Yeah, biofuels and biomass, and green energy, solar.
A lot of developments happening, and I will tell you some of the things at least based in Australia and some other countries.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please see. So I think conscious of time, so we'll go a bit fast, but you tell one or two things you want to learn, and what you do in your plant, what's your role, and so it's right.
Yes.
I know you.
Morning once again. Hello everyone.
And please, everyone, listen to shout.
Myself Sahib Mohammed. I am working with ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. I'm locating at Surat, Gujarat. Actually, I am a pure metallurgical engineer. I am working with steel industry since last 6 years with Tata Steel and currently with ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel. And in my field of research with iron ore and alternative fuels for the iron making industry, we found many of the issues with CO2 emissions because we have certain targets with Government of India that for crude steel production we have to lower down the CO2 emissions.
Sorry? Yes. No, I am fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So this course this advertisement actually when I found in LinkedIn, I found that it is suitable to my area and it will help me out for learning some skills with Dr. Nausad sir. So I hope these 5 days will enrich us with many of the knowledges with alternative fuels and renewable energies in India. So best of luck everyone.
Thank you, sir. And thanks for coming all the way. Some of you are traveling a long way. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, good morning everyone. Myself Rahul Kumar. I am a research scholar from the engineering department in Durgapur. I just started research work on the carbonation of a steel plant and power generation under the supervision of the Dr.
Fantastic. Yes, so we will be talking. Would you like to know more about your work?
Hello everyone, I am Shanisha Sina. I am working as a manager chemistry from Department of Corporation BSc. Actually, I am working in chemical lab and I am associated with coal testing. And we are using also biomass for last 2 years because biomass blending is doing. So I am here actually. I think this will be helpful in reducing the carbon dioxide emission in thermal power plants. So we can get some idea and we can give some input here also.
Thank you very much. What sort of biomass you are using?
We are using non-qualified biomass pellets.
Biomass pellets. Wood dust, and then wood
Hay
dust,
dust.
hay dust, etc. That is made in India.
Made in.
Fantastic. That's good. Actually.
We are using non-qualified biomass.
But in torrefaction improves a bit. Maybe there
Of
are.
course, but qualified biomass pellets are far more expensive.
That's right. Agree. Yeah. Anyway, but at least you are starting it.
Yes, we are doing
People
5%
usually talk about
pelleting.
biomass.
5% pelleting.
Actually, quite a significant part of my career I spent on bioenergy.
No, actually in 2023 in our plant DSPS, we first tested it for a session and then in 2024 and 25 session, the all valley has used it.
Thanks.
We are getting power from
This is with partners blended. Yeah, that's good. So it's a bit green. So in fact, as I was saying,
Everyone is correlated.
half of my career I spent with, when I was not a convinced person, as a biomass. Everybody I say, when is the biomass? Another 10 years. So when I started 10 years, even maybe a few weeks ago, I said, when is the biomass power coming? So another 10 years. So it will never come. But it seems like it is not. To be honest, in Australia, we used to export wooden pellets to Europe because Europe used to get premium for their power produced from blended biomass. Anyway, so good to know that that is happening in India. Yeah, there are some opportunities we can discuss. I think Amash has done biomass in steel making, so maybe there are some similarities. Madam, you? Sorry. What's your name? Rupali. Rupali. Dipali. What's the company name you said? Project Limited. So it's more developing the facilities for others. Because very important.
It is called
Yeah, sorry. Other Singapore. Wow, that's my goodness. It's a nicely planned city. Every time I come, I enjoy. The roads are very nicely planned, isn't it? Yeah, please see. Thanks, and hopefully, so yeah, maybe you get some flavor of what we talk about. Because any town planner or city planner or even administrative people, they need to, because this LCA course for everyone. So we'll be discussing it more. So, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. Myself, Sandeep Lama. I am from Durgapur Project Limited as a manager working in power plant operations. Basically, that's operation of 300 megawatt power plant. So, that's all.
You are running on
One unit is beside another L 250 megawatt unit is there. The total.
What's the fuel you said? That,
Four days power.
and who is that not DPC?
That is big. Under West Bengal.
Okay, that's right. And where you are from in India?
Siliguri.
This good part of the country, yeah? That are in that state. Anyway, please have a seat and
I had also
Yeah,
a question in my mind, but later on we can discuss.
Sure.
We are about to install FGD, previously sulfurization.
Right.
But since our coal is Indian coal, we are completely 100% using Indian coal.
Not bad.
No blending of that. But since I have read that its sulfur content is only 0.3 to 0.4.
Really very low sulfur.
Yeah. So is there any need to install that? Is there any?
Well, it depends. Even a small amount of sulfur going there in the air. If
So we have certain limits.
yeah, as long as you meet yeah. But I guess we'll talk about a bit of air quality because a lot of we are under decarbonization, but actually we need to think about beyond that. So maybe I'll talk about that. Okay, good to know that one. Okay, thanks. That gentleman.
Yeah, good morning everyone. I am representing Switch Foundation. Yes, it's an NGO from Kolkata. We generally work on sustainability part. Recently we are working in Green Steel project. So in this project our goal is to gather knowledge and disseminate among people, among all the stakeholders actually. So for that we are here, we are learning and we disseminate.
Very good job. So what is the number one problem you are facing to designate that job now?
Actually, we are working with MSMEs mostly. So MSME sector in Durgapur previously when we came here for KIIs, that time we came to know that most of them are in sustainability issue. They are not sustainable in that manner. So we are actually working on that, how to reach them, how to work with them for their decarbonization.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. And actually, working with those girls. Please sit. Yeah. So actually, one of the please you can sit. And so one of my student, PhD student, funded Rishikesh Mandale. So he is now in Australia. So his job is to look at all India MSME, medium scale steel plants because they are Tata and Jindal big ones. So we're not looking at the big ones, the smaller ones. And he is sort of classifying it different because there are so many definitions. What is a small industry? What is a big industry? But good project. So Professor Ashok Sharma, Dr. Hardik Kaur and Ayan Chakraborty, Professor Ayan Chakraborty. So three of them supervising that project at Victoria University and Federation University, two universities part of that. There's all the Indian background, so he will come. I will connect with Rishikesh so that actually he is coming in probably December to look at some of the data. The job is to look at mechanical steel plants, what is the ECWW footprint and what is ECWW? I think at the end of the course, if you don't remember anything, remember ECWW. We call it energy, carbon, water, and waste. So water, energy, carbon, water, waste footprint. You will first understand and determine that, benchmark that, and then what are the strategies to reduce that. That will be SDG. So it's a quite challenging topic, and more we'll go into it. It's a very interesting area that no standards, no benchmark, and sometimes very hard to get data because industries do not want to show and share. So it's quite interesting topic. So I have to kind of okay, next.
Hello everyone, I am Opurjit Dotto and I am also on Switchon. I work as a research officer there. So basically Switchon work in environment, sustainability and renewables, and also we have a project on decarbonizing the steel sector. So basically as you mentioned sir, this quantifiable data is important. So we can understand what the importance or the challenges we are facing. So in this course, the LCA, the techno-economic modeling, these are the important things. So we can understand what the environmental conditions are right now. So we can recommend the policy intervention. So also can see the SDG goal also. So I'm here, happy to join. I think we are the only environment guys here. So hope to learn from you sir on all the participants.
Thanks. Would like to know and learn from you too. There's quite a bit of interesting area that we need to engage the people, society ultimately, isn't it? Yes. You may have a beautiful technology, but unless people do not like it, it's not really, value. Yeah.
Morning. I'm Manish Singh. I work in steel plant, SAIL, Steel Authority of India. So I work in cinder plant department. So right now we are working on reducing our carbon footprint and replacing wood with something which is more carbon neutral, like biochar. So what I am expecting from this session is how the GHG footprint is calculated and how far the biochar will be good replacement for coal trees right now.
Fantastic. So I've got I think I spent quite a bit of time on that. Couldn't fix it, but at least share the experience. Okay, it's still expensive, but yeah, we can talk more. Thanks a lot. And where you are from?
No, they have taken a trial in a cinder plant in Durgapur steel plant as a partial replacement of coal. So we are also trying to replicate that. So we need to do some preliminary study how this will be.
And you said you are from local, right?
No, I work in Burnput, 40 kilometers.
Not ISCO, right? So
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, that was it.
I had very bad experience with
Biochar. Alright, okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Good morning everyone, myself Vikas Saini. I am also from ISCO Steel Plant. I'm a power engineer. Mainly I look after the distribution part, but we have a in-house power plant also based on gases. We have a various other flue gases generated from the blast furnace and coke ovens. So we use those gases to generate the power. We have a 50 to 55 megawatt generation on average. Till now we don't have the coal-based power plant in our area, in our plant. But in the future, maybe it's an opportunity to, because we want more power for our state plant. Right now, the main goal is to reduce the carbon emission, because it's a government of India right now imposing on all the steel plants. So first thing is that how to reduce from the carbon emission from power plant. Although we are not using the coal, but still we are emitting some of the carbon through the gases. So maybe if from this session we can get some insight how to reduce the flue gases based power plant from carbon
You can
emission.
inject also, like incorporation of other gases like hydrogen.
If it is commercial feasible.
That's right.
The main thing for the industry is commercial feasible also.
Already you are using waste gas.
Yeah, we are using this gas.
If you want to increase the capacity, then additional gas.
Another port into
We can introduce another gas if it is feasible for the industry to use.
That's right.
Then we are open to that, but commercial part is there.
That's good, thanks. And did you notice our friend called Powerman? He's a powerman and we team powerman. Obviously there are opportunities, but as we said, cost is a big driver and it's a big challenge, and that's why research, innovation, we need to keep doing. And I don't know, I think actually I was cleaning my office because I had a room for a long time, and they have made a policy that doesn't matter which position you are, you have to sit in an open plan area. So I'm kind of got this. So I had a room for a long time, as all my staff for I don't know how many years. I was going through floppy disk, emission, I don't know how, maybe less than a kilobyte, I know 50 kilobytes or something
64
like
bytes,
that.
128 bytes.
I had a drawing model, biomass drawing model in there. Okay, so that was small Fortran code we used to run on a MATLAB machine and Unix machine that time, 3-4 days. And if I come back, crashes, my data gone. So those days, and even now, my hard disk probably 30 terabyte, and a small one. So it's amazing. I mean, particularly for our generation, not Shabazz is a little bit younger. We have not seen this kind of thing, but and maybe some of you are younger, much younger than me. I've seen those changes. It's amazing, really.
Transformations.
So it's nothing become. I think we have to be more optimistic. That's what I'm saying. That I mean, that's the lesson here. So anyway, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I am Swastik Shah. I am currently assistant engineer in blast furnace operation in East Coast Steel Plant, Bradford. So as we know, the blast furnace is entirely a carbon-dependent process. It's huge carbon pattern, right? So we have taken some steps to reduce our carbon footprint. Like we have a top recovery turbine, which, like Sir was telling us, that it produces electricity by using the top pressure of the blast furnace. We are producing around 18 megawatts, maybe less, but whatever. The blast furnace requires around 50 to 60 megawatt, and we are producing 18 megawatts. So yeah, in that way we are generating that power. So if you ask us what is the specific 3 reasons I have here, one is that how to reduce the carbon footprint more. We have reduced the fuel rate, square part of fuel for producing a ton of hot metal. We are currently we are the blast furnace, our blast furnace has got the lowest fuel rate. But we want to improve from there. We want to reduce the carbon footprint further. Second is that what is the feasibility of green hydrogen production in real time scenario, not the theoretical one. We want to know the real time scenario. And the third is that what is the industrial feasibility of green steel? Is it a sustainable process? First thing. Because as far as I understand, for producing a 1 million ton of green steel, it will require around $13 billion, which is way higher than what the rate at which they are generating. So I want to know the actual industrial feasibility.
Thank you so much. These are all challenges for everyone, and but there are ways to mix things and configure this thing. Yeah. So I think
in your future expansion plan, you are setting a blast furnace or you are
No, it's blast furnace.
Same technology.
See, what we understand that India is at least 50 to 55 years from producing green steel, at least. Because POSCO, the South Korean giant, they have decided to produce green steel by 2047. And they have started working from 2017 with 2007. So at least 30 years before the actual deadline they have started working. So India is presently not a technology provider for blast furnace. So those who are technology provider, they have started 30 years back. I want to know where does India stand?
So I guess I last time I visited your strategy was maybe 2070 onwards.
Yes.
Yeah, 2070 is net zero.
That is what it is. It's a theoretical.
Even assuming that everything will be
Yes,
ready.
if we want to reach by 2070, we should have started 10 years back.
So, but I think some of the things I probably don't agree 100% because things sometimes move so fast. I mean, I can tell you, please see, the scientists, I mean, obviously renewable energy field for a long time, particularly solar, we used to have lunch together, all the colleagues. And hardcore scientists, they say, we don't believe in renewables. Renewables will never be a mainstream energy supply. You look at now, in Australia last year, we had 40% electricity came from renewables. Okay? We target 82% by 2030. So almost nearly 100% electricity will come from renewables. It is possible country like Australia because we have a lucky situation. If we want 100% of our energy, we can get from solar, there is a lot of land. We can get 100% from wind, we can mix them, that's fine. Also, we can have 100% fossil. Worldwide there are 430 nuclear power reactors. We we supply maybe 20% of the, so we can, Australia is a different country, we call it type A country. Some countries have some, you know, you can, so it has to be, each country has its own unique advantage and disadvantage. I would agree if Korea is waiting for 2070, India shouldn't wait. India may have some other opportunities that we can think about and how we can use that. Okay? So probably we'll discuss that. Thanks a lot.
Namaskar. Good morning, everyone. Myself Deepan Bab, working for Steel Authority of India Limited at ISCO Steel Plant Kanpur. Basically, I am looking in the field of occupational health and safety of iron zone. Recently, I have been given a job of environmental clearance for our new projects. So I am looking forward for this course, and I want to make the best out of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Myself Bipin Kumar, working in DVC 20PS. At present, I am working at project and FGD project. Our plant has implemented FGD for reducing the sulfur dioxide, DNOx for reducing the nitrogen oxide. Now, the third step, I think it will be decreasing the carbon dioxide, because the the FGD project, the byproduct is gypsum plus CO2. In case of decreasing the SO2, we have increased the percentage of SO2. So the CO2. So the next step, I think it will be implementation of decarbonization, and it will be helpful.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Good morning, sir. I am J. Gunjan. I am come here from DVC MPPS. Today, I am working at project in the power plant, which is coal-based power plant. Today, in the whole world, and main task of our plant is to reduce carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and NOx. Due to this is a very tough task for every power plant. And as per Government of India laws, we have to done zero emission of carbon dioxide till 2050. To reduce the carbon dioxide, SOx, NOx, we have developed also a FGD program in every power plant, and we have come here to get knowledge about reduced sulfur CO2.
Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll get there some.
Good morning, everyone. I am Balu Kiran. I am presently working as manager mechanical in DVC MTPS plant. 210-250 megawatt as a control room engineer. From this session, I want to learn more about emission regarding thermal plant, how to control them, different greenhouse gases, and also renewable energy source, how to hydrogen, the renewable sources.
Thank you so much. Please sit.
Good morning to everyone. Myself Rishabh Kumar Dugar. I have done my civil engineering from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology in the year 2010. Thereafter I joined Damodar Valley Corporation in 2011, and I am presently working with Damodar Valley Corporation, posted at Major Thermal Power Station. It is one of the largest thermal power plants of Eastern India. So basically, with this training part, as we know, the power industry is one of the biggest emitter of carbon dioxide, and the carbon emissions that is happening, like 50% of the carbon emission is because of the burning of fossil fuels and the thermal industry. So at our industry, at our organization, we are actively looking to reduce the carbon emission, so that with the passage of energy conservation bill in 2023, and thereafter the carbon markets, they are going to be a reality in the India, and all the power plants, and in fact the steel plants and the emitter will be under certain obligation. They will be limited, given a limit for their carbon emission. So everyone has to reduce the carbon emission in their particular industries. Otherwise, they will be imposed a penalty or those type of things. Carbon tax. Like with the carbon market, they will be obligated to purchase carbon credits
That's right.
from someone who is doing
Offsetting
offsetting them. So with all these things, our industry at DVC also we are looking actively to reduce our carbon emission. So with the usage of like the biomass and the alternate fuel, the ammonia, co-mixing of ammonia and all those things. And we are actively doing the ESG part of things also at our organization. So I hope to learn and enhance some of my knowledge that I have with this training. So that's
What's
all.
your name again?
Rishabh Kumar Duga.
Rishabh Kumar.
Rishabh Kumar Duga. Yes.
Thanks, and thanks for the idea starting now. Thanks again. Okay, what about you?
Good morning, everybody. I am from Kudama Thermal Power Station.
Kudama.
Yes. I am also operation engineer. I am control room. So I want to know what is the decarbonization related to power plant, thermal power plant.
Thanks, please. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I am Shantanu Sengupta, a professional research scholar. I am pursuing my PhD under Dr. Arul sir.
I see.
And I am also working in ISCO steel plant, SAIL. And I have had 23 years experience in steel industry. And now I am working in ISCO.
Very good. Thanks. Behind the back, yeah, what's your name?
Good morning. I am Pritam Paul. I am a final year BTech student in Metallurgical and Materials Engineering at NIT Durgapur. I am from Bangladesh. My academic research interest includes material processing, bonding, wire and additive manufacturing.
And have you heard of life cycle assessment? Yeah. And which part of Bangladesh you are from? Where in Bangladesh? You said where you are from?
Bangladesh.
Which part of Bangladesh you are from? Odisha.
Yes.
Good, thanks. Hopefully, yeah, we will get something out of there because they are BTech. They think about future also. In fact, the red shirt, yeah.
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Good morning, sir. Myself, Rampera Sarma. I am a student and working here as a project assistant on the topic studies on sustainable steel making by 2015 using biomass as reductant under Dr. Arup Kumar Mandal, sir, and with Avas sir. And I am here to listen something different from you as well as to get some knowledge, extraordinary knowledge about the LCA process. That's why I am here, sir.
Thank you so much. Hopefully, okay. And finally,
good morning everyone. Myself Sakanti Pal. I have completed M.Tech in Production Engineering from Kalani Government Engineering College. And my academic project research is very interested in experimental characterization of iron ore pelletizing process.
please sit here. So I think anyone else who have not introduced here? Sir, I saw you.
I went to Australia too. I worked in
Monash University. Okay. Thank you, Professor, and thank you, sir, for coming here. Thank you so much. Raken যতক্ষণ ভালো লাগে, thank you. Thanks for coming, sir. Okay, thank you. And we would like to learn from you too. So, anyways, and here obviously everybody knows Arup and Avash. Anyone else I missed here? All. So, theme coming decarbonization, right? And we want to know how to reduce that. It's a good challenge worldwide. If this challenge didn't exist, we are not here in this room. I mean, everyone has that one. So I think when I run this course, I asked this question: why do you come to this? What do you need to know? So I think it seems like I don't know exactly. So broadening your skills and knowledge, one deeper understanding about life cycle assessment, software, how to. I think before decarbonization, how to decarbonize, you need to know where is our benchmark, how to determine the carbon footprint, both direct and indirect, and that's what life cycle assessment concept comes in. We often say that, okay, we switch a fuel, but maybe the fuel processing takes a lot of CO2 upstream. How do we account for that? So that's why I think the majority of my course is focused on life cycle assessment. So that's why they come for methodology, tutorial, software. There are so many software is around. Software is not the solution, I often say, but it helps you to reduce time, etc. There are some tricks we can discuss about that. To know, obviously, most of the development, like environmental or colleagues there, didn't get chance to know about LCA. This is a new kind of area, carbon accounting. I mean, decarbonization we are talking about, because when I get because a lot of our work we have done, what is the carbon footprint of metal? That's my specialty essentially. So what is the CO2 footprint of ton of steel? Okay, and when I say, everybody says that some of the questions come, is the only thing you are interested in CO2 footprint? You have to have other indicators, other problems also, isn't it? So I think we need to think beyond carbon footprint. Obviously carbon footprint is because we are decarbonized and carbon emission becomes suddenly a global issue, but there are other issues also need to be looked at, and LCA can do that also. So what problem is that some people say we have not nailed down the carbon footprint here. Why do we move to others? I mean, obviously some people say, some colleagues say that sulfur, desulfurization, SO2, NOx. So I think it's a broader kind of area. So we need to do technology, we need to operate. I think many of you, I know that day to day your job is operation. And you are industry, deep end of the industry. You run the plants. I have no experience. I've been to many plants, visit, but I've never run a plant. So I don't have that deep experience you have got. I mean, often I used to think when I started my career, I thought industry knows everything, and I used to feel a bit inferior. But slowly, when I got confidence, I thought, no. Industry, they have certain things, like you guys probably running the plant, day-to-day operation, your profit, your bottom line, those are the important ones, and you are running on a set of things. But like say, I think the colleague said, FMG, Fortescue Group Metal, who are one of the largest iron ore producer in the world. So in Australia, if you talk about global steel making, obviously we will go there in the next module that who is producing, etc. Australia produces nearly 1 billion ton of iron ore. I think 950 million ton a year. It's a huge amount. When I started my career, it was maybe 250 million ton. So in my eyes, that grows 250 million to nearly a billion ton. So it's going like that. This company comes in, but mainly three companies: Rio Tinto, BHP, and BHP means Broken Hill Proprietary, who started in Australia, and FMG later came, which is Fortescue Group Metal. So one of the event, I asked the CEO of Fortescue FMG, we made a very good presentation, and I think 7 years ago, and I said in an event, I said, do you know what is the carbon footprint of your iron ore? He was embarrassed. He said, I don't know. I have to go back and ask my people, and I said, I can, okay, you need to know, and your people need to know this one, because you need to report these kind of things. And then he said, Doctor, I will connect you, my people. And then he arranged meetings, everything, and when CEO said, everything goes like that, So I was invited in Perth for a big office, a big office. I went there. It's a kind of open plan office like what I discussed just before. So that all the technical guy came and I made a presentation. And we got a project and we looked at what is the CO2 footprint of iron ore production, where they're coming from, and what are the strategies to be used. And I know
How
that.
much did it come to?
Sorry?
How much was the figure?
Well, I think FMG was pretty good. We had, I think our calculation was around 17 kilogram per ton of iron ore, but FMG was a little bit lower because their quality was better, but now they're going up because their quality, iron ore grade is going lower. So, but anyway, so that's depends on which mine. They have got 3 mines, so on 3, 4, 5 assets, and each asset has got its own characteristics, etc. So it's not. And another thing, often people say, and I don't. Also, I've said that's one number. It's not a single number. It's always number with a range and band, and that's we need to be aware of. That even steel making, 2.4 ton of CO2 per ton of steel, or 2.2 or 2 or 1.8 global average, all sorts of number people say. And another thing, I think with LCA we know more. What's the boundary? What's the basics? What's the benchmark? If you look at, one of my students did a PhD later, he came as a BTech like him, and then I employed him as a research engineer, and then he did a PhD. He's one of the best now. He is one of my best students. Stephen Northway. Stephen Northway is an UTS. I think you met Stephen, right? I sent you to that conference. So Stephen did this sort of calculation, and often that first of his work was that all these industries, they produce what is called sustainability reports. Okay, we looked at all the sustainability reports for particular years, and then we kind of go into the deep end of all this data, put them in a kind of environment and looked at, analyzed that. There is so much variation, and one year to another year, drastic difference. One company to another company, drastic difference. Why are they? We will try to figure out that. And the reason is that there is no uniformity. There is no standard in a sense that somebody says, okay, starts from mining to metal, somebody starts gate to metal, So all sorts of things, and that's what the life cycle assessment, if you follow proper methodology, should be fine. But because people do not follow methodology, that's the problem. So that's another thing I'd like to highlight. And we'll probably come into those things. So that's yeah, LCA. So how many people have heard the word life cycle assessment? Can you put your hands up?
Just heard.
Just now?
Just heard.
So okay. So maybe many of you do not know deep end of that, right? So that's a good tool. Whatever I can say, it's a good. I can now feel confident, but not right now. It's a common sense, and it's not necessarily big rocket science. It's very much calculation, algebraic calculation, and I can show you. And I've probably trained so many people around the world, not only in Australia. So good to see that they're doing very good LCA studies. I've reviewed so many studies myself.
We did the LCA in our assets, like transformers. We did the LCA.
So but that's more life cycle of the asset.
Asset.
Yeah. But not the carbon footprints
No,
and
not
that sense. Yeah.
We
So
did
that's
not assets.
we call it life cycle costing. Is it LCC?
Life cycle analysis, you can say.
It's going to be very critical parameter for investment.
That's right.
Yeah,
and also
it's a parameter for
investment now, and it is getting more. I mean, when I first started my career as a life cycle assessment many years ago, I think during my PhD time, my co-supervisor was Professor Jim Petrie. He came from South Africa to Australia. He's one of the best chemical engineers. Last time when I went to Cape Town, he was in Cape Town, but I couldn't meet. I think he was away from the country. So he was my second. He brought a big team from South Africa to Australia. He was the head of chemical engineering. A lot of chemical engineers actually contributed to the development of LCA. So I'm talking about 98. I heard that life cycle assessment. I asked the professor what it is. We heard life cycle assessment for butterfly, etc. You are talking about power, you are talking about metal. It's a different world anyway. So, and he taught me, and then that was power. And then that time was software. I think I don't think there are many software at that time. And even software, there were 200 processes, and we used to do a hand calculate. And in an Excel sheet, we used to put the numbers and calculation factor, etc. And then suddenly, slowly we found that software is coming because all these government institutions, because LCA all about data. So a lot of data was created by the institutions like CSRO in Switzerland, government research labs, they put data. And the software companies took them and put in a package and just put a software. But anyway, it's a good business now. At least 3-4 companies. SEMA Pro is one software, Gabi name another software, they call it now LCA for experts. One software called Open LCA, so I encourage you, some of you, if you are going to deep in that area, a lot of my students are using it and they give good report on that. Although it's a bit of limitation because it's open.
SEMA Pro is licensed software.
That's right. So license, and there's a guy, Sunil Kumar, I think his name is in India, he's the agent, and Gabi is I forgot his name, Doctor. I met both of the person he's based in Mumbai, who runs that Gabi software for LCA for experts. But I can talk about the software. You don't need necessarily software. If you know the tricks, you can do it yourself without the software. So anyway, so then some people will say, I want a job, so I want to get a new field. Suddenly this area become hot, a lot of demand for recruitment. And want to know if the tools work more efficiently. And yeah, another perspective. Some people want to do PhD, higher study. A lot of people now, as you said, that government programs now want LCA as part of your investment, and also even when you do apply for research, consult research grants, the application sometimes they have been done in LCA or what's the carbon footprint, because most of the process you propose, I think blast furnace is beautiful technology. It's running for a long time. Same with ammonia technology, people Haber-Bosch process. It's nobody dared to come up with a new technology. Blast furnace, it's really efficient technology. But now, if you want to propose something, you say how you improve it, how you improve the, and then you need to do an LCA. You need to do some more studies to understand that shortcomings or weaknesses and how you improve that. What I'm speaking, does that make sense? Okay. All right. So and then environmental solutions, and sometimes so many things operating now. There's a big war, etc. So people want to destruct. Okay, let's focus on something, learn ourselves. Anyway, so I think that's what I don't know what this thing. Yeah. So instead of this kind of tools or software, maybe or whatever, you can expedite the process, but not necessarily software is the solution, as I said. Okay. Before then, what do you think the top environmental problem globally right now? Anyone idea?
War.
But war is different. It's not my matter. I don't deal with one of the issues I never will do with weapons. I will like this kind of
pollution, climate change.
Sorry, pollution,
global warming,
Ice melting.
ice melting. Who else? Any other piece from the back?
Ozone depletion.
Ozone depletion. What else?
Deforestation.
Deforestation. What else? What's the top most global problem now, right now? Environmental problem. What is it?
Uncontrolled mining.
Mining.
Ash disposal.
Sorry?
Ash disposal.
Ash disposal. So waste problem. Waste. Waste is an issue. I call it ECWW is a big problem. Obviously, energy, carbon, water, waste. But if you look at that, the top environmental problem was air pollution. So obviously, you said urban depletion or something. Climate change, global warming, second largest. Water pollution, waste generation, natural resource depletion. And this is one varies from year to year, but this is one of the area. And if you see air quality index, right? So 0 to 50, very good, and more than 150 is pretty not so good. So number of days above this unhealthy condition, in particular one year it was 165 days out of 365 days. The air pollution number of days was above that. So basically unhealthy condition, right? And then every year it is increasing, and if it is unhealthy condition, your respiratory illness might go up, other illness will trigger. So what is the recommendation? This one I'll ask my, what do you think, which city that is?
Delhi, Kolkata.
Delhi, Kolkata. Actually, it is a Dhaka city.
Same
Not
as
similar. It's not
similar condition.
So elders and children should stay home. Healthy residents should avoid outdoor activities and exercising. Sorry?
Durgapur is more polluted than Kolkata.
Is it Durgapur also similar? I thought Durgapur is, but at the moment very good.
Respect of air pollution.
Better condition in Durgapur compared to Kolkata.
No, Durgapur has many plants and green. It is green city, so it is right now okay. But pollution is much more in Durgapur.
I think it's maybe rainy season, it's going down,
Yes.
it's good again. Because I say healthy city, clean city, or healthy city, green city, something like that. Every city they have their industrial city, yeah. So I think in Bangladesh they have a lot of big fields, and that's one of the culprits. Big fields, lot of pollution. Yeah. What is, do you think is phrase very much needed, isn't it? Anyway, so in Melbourne, it's very windy place. Well, Melbourne particularly, our winter is not very good. I think you have been there, right? Yes. This time of the year, I'm lucky that I'm sort of avoiding that bad weather. It's still, I couldn't escape. Here is also rain, but it's okay. At least warm. There is windy and cold. You know, you cannot go outside. So you take an umbrella. Okay. So when I ask sometimes, what's this all about? Why important to take an umbrella? Why I'm trying about better broken umbrella to you? What do you think? Anyone point to you? What's the special about broken umbrella?
High wind speeds.
What do you do when broken umbrella? What do you do when? Because you use umbrella probably, right? Have you ever experienced an umbrella problem? Huh? Have you ever experienced an umbrella problem due to wind or something?
Yes.
And what do you do? Throw in the bin. Or what do you do?
Repair sometime. Sometimes repair.
Yeah,
Sometimes repair.
If it is repairable, if it is not repairable,
Throw in the bin.
throw in the bin, right? So that's the story I'm saying, that throw in the bin without thinking. Do you know how umbrella is made? So umbrella has so many parts, right? It has got the main part I'm interested with because steel, you know, that prop or whatever steel structure, right? So we are here some steel making experts. We have so if you go to the Google, YouTube, umbrella making process is fascinating. I mean, we had, you know, maybe wooden stick before, but you can see so many parts, you know, that the nylon or whatever, the cloth, and obviously whenever some of the industries I go to, they give gift and they give umbrella. I know IIT Kharagpur, one of the professors gave me very nice IIT Kharagpur written. I use that in Melbourne, and people might say, oh, I'm from IIT Kharagpur. So it's, and where is this? Do you know about IIT Kharagpur? Sundar Pichai. So he was from IIT Kharagpur. Anyway, so that's the, but what I'm going to say, if you talk about each parts, comes from various industry sectors. And the concept of life cycle assessment, even as a philosophy, it's really interesting because you see the part of a product. So you can, it's a fascinating journey. So because life cycle assessment, you have a product, And those products when I see, whether it's iPhone or whether it's a car or a plastic bottle, we can see a product, but where it is coming from, not a lot of people are understanding. Because all the way to mine, right? So that's why I say mining, mineral processing, metallurgy, and how you make metals is very, very important. Because so many different types of steel, blast furnace steel, electric arc furnace steel, DRI, steel can be made so many ways, right? And same with copper, so many different routes they have. So anyway, so that's the property of the story. It's nothing special. It's just to show you the life cycle assessment thinking that any product you make, it comes from a process and then it's a journey, and not only that, that each has got its. If you need to calculate the environmental impact, we just thinking of throwing the bin, but in the consequence of that, and then that's umbrella story. Same with plastics. It's a big problem around the world, isn't it? Plastics is a big problem. So that's the same story. So who I am to teach you about this or teach anyone, or it's not necessarily I'm going to teach, but sharing the experience. So the first paper in my career I did energy and greenhouse gas impacts of mining and mineral processing operations. And that we published in 2010 in Journal of Cleaner Production. So you know that research they also published, etc. And that attracted quite a fair bit of many of our other work subsequently we did on LCA. And the good thing that they are used by people, and often they come to me, oh, sir, can you give this data, how do you do that, etc. Just a good satisfaction when you do something, it's useful for others. So also another area, electric waste, and obviously that's I've done a lot of work. I saw that recently that Delhi is setting up a electric waste plant, and all these mobile phones, when the iPhone comes, in Australia, in Melbourne, there's a shopping center called Chaddiston. It's the largest shopping center in Australia, and usually celebrities, Hollywood actors come and shop there. So you can see people sometimes go there to see the Hollywood celebrity. So there's an Apple store, and if there's a new iPhone model comes, people sometimes queue for 3 days. So they'll take and wait there just to get the first model. Have you seen that news like that?
Yes.
US. I don't know, something, I don't, as long as it works, I'm happy. It doesn't matter if it's to be Apple or anything, but anyway, some people are crazy like that.
This is Asian mentality.
So,
use until die.
But nobody appreciates that an iPhone has got 60 elements and 40 metals, and they come from various places. So I often ask, and maybe if I ask you, ma'am, how many phones you have used in your so far in your lifetime, or so far, how many phones you have used?
Perhaps 4.
4. How about you? How many? 4. And you?
Before around 3.
Dr. Arup, how many? 4. What about that gentleman? 4. And our environmental expert, how many? You? 6. You were bad, environmentally bad. Anyway, that's okay then. Next. 6. What about you? How many phones? 3 phones so far used? You? 4. What about that? How many? 5 maybe. What about you? Yeah, 5. 5? 4. 5. 4? 6. 6. And back, how many phones you have used so far? How many phones? Mobile phones? 6. How many sets? Just 1? Okay, good. I appreciate that. Next? 2. What about you?
5.
5. And
Almost 8.
8?
5.
Back? How many? 1. 1. That's good. Okay, next? 2, 5. So on an average 4, 5, right? When the phone dies, what do you do?
Exchange.
But sometimes you can do that. After once end of life, you cannot do much really. So still you put in a drawer or something like that, isn't it?
Sometimes.
Or play or still. So that's where now, the amount of going exponential. So that's waste is another problem. And so that's why we are talking about decarbonization. Obviously that's a big topic for industry, that's why I'm interested. But what about the waste? Your Mezia power plant, I think 45% of the ash, because I don't remember, recently I was there, somebody they say that they cannot expand the operation because of the ash problem. So where is that to go? So can we do something with the waste? And that's why I think R&D, working with the academics, developing the young R&D skilled researchers, these are very important. These are all integrated part of the society because we live in a society. And if there is no world, that's why I said environment is all about everything around us. if there is no environment, doesn't matter how much cost, you are talking about cost, okay? So one of my colleagues gave an example that, cancer, for example, God forbid, we don't have, but if someone has that one, it doesn't matter how much the expensive medicine, we try to get it, right? So I'm not comparing the global warming or carbonization or carbon emission as a cancer, but it is one of the problems, isn't it? Eh? So even if you need to pay a bit more, maybe we need to think around that what's the best way to have the solution. And that's why all the governments are working on that. Hundreds of, when hydrogen came as a solution, every country, I think in Australia we had billions of dollars. Last 10 years, first 10 years of, I said that 23 years ago I did my PhD. First 10 years of my career was a bit up and down, because every time less money, this money. But last 10 years I had the best part of my life. Money was not a problem. You recruit PhD student, you recruit scientist, doesn't matter. So because everybody needs solution, and the problem still exists. Maybe hydrogen is not the only solution. We have a mix of solution, mix of technologies, but there are something we need. Because the problem stays in the background, isn't it? And you guys, day to day, you are operating, and we think of power is coming, ordinary people, they think of power is there. You just plug in and that's it. But it has to come from somewhere nicely, cleanly, and sustainably, and we have to afford it. So that's the number 7 of the goal. And that's why I go for work. Every day I go for work, keeping that mind how to improve and achieve that number 7 goal. For the society, for myself, for everyone, for my students, whoever I work with. So that's clean, affordable energy.
Sir, as you mentioned about that broken umbrella in Melbourne, many years ago I heard that in Melbourne people used to wear hat, and probably the umbrella is for maybe there's a issue for UV rays, that ozone layer depletion. People used to avoid that for getting skin cancer and all. So they might be using umbrella for that also.
Exactly right. So in Australian subcontinent,
yeah,
it's called ozone depletion. There is ozone hole. You heard of that? And that's because of that refrigerated gas, etc. Montreal Protocol came into effect, and many countries, this very good program will stop that or will reduce that. So still Australia has got high UV during, when you look at your phone, maybe say 10 o'clock until 3-4 o'clock, you go outside, you have to take precautions, otherwise skin cancer problem. Generally white people are more susceptible. We are down for some reason, we are lucky that. But this is the only thing, being black is good. But anyway, but on the other hand, not necessarily, because in Australia we have white people. There is a big campaign. My wife works with the kids. It's what do you call that, daycare center kind of thing, or with the educator, early childhood educator. So she always, because she gets used to, when I said, have you put your sunscreen on? I said, don't worry, I'm okay. No, you have to put it on. And there's some way to put it anyway. So that's a bit of problem. But good news, that if a country or if the globe wants to stop something that works and that have done in the past, because otherwise the ozone hole would be completely destroyed. It's not. So when you talk about decarbonization, when you talk about sulfur oxide, acid rain, because that was a problem in Europe, yeah, things can improve. And I think some of the areas are improving drastically, but some of the challenges are so big, it's hard to digest, because we need to have lifestyle and etc. I don't know how I'm going to time with
It's a time break actually.
We can have a break now?
Break, 10 minutes.
So just quickly,
I am waiting from 12.
Okay. So hopefully, are you okay? Just finish up one more slide, and then we can have a break. We can come back. So I think, well, you have seen this one, right? So in the Western countries, like say in parliament discussion, in debate you listen to, majority of the election issues last at least 10 years or maybe more, talk about climate change, and then often talk about us, the CSR, we are the government kind of unbiased information with the scientists. We have a big role, we call it advisor, trusted advisor. So every day on the news, CSR scientists tell this. So both government parties and opposition, kind of, we are political football. We kick someone in the other. But our job is not to be party, because we are part of government. We have to give the right information of the people so that government can make a decision. So those countries, because they have already developed, but countries like us, we have a lot of other issues, so we can ignore this. But that's also a bit of a challenge, and then a bit of, I would say, learning, and then and evolution in countries like us. So I think these will be, I think I'll be covering, I can stop it here. So but main expectation is this two-way process. I learn from you learn from me. Aim for good learning outcome, ask questions, and yeah, have fun. And I'm not a teacher, but I think perfect teacher, to find a perfect teacher is very difficult these days. Yeah. So yeah, environment is key in essence. The environment is all around us. Actually, this is one of the reservoirs in Australia. We have, I don't know here what the supply water comes from. So this is our drinking water. This water comes directly from the dam to the houses with minimal treatment. And this is a very beautiful place. You cannot swim, you cannot fish here. It's all protected. Surface water. There are, I think, British people did something very, very good thing. So when they came in Melbourne, they planned that how much water they need. They had several reservoirs set out, and water comes in, rainwater, and then collected, and then we take that out. So I think life cycle is a key tool for sustainability assessment. I don't know how much I'll be telling you about our industry or steel industry or nitty-gritty of that, but I'm definitely LCA. You can ask any question. I can go there, and there's the relevance. Obviously, your industry need to be more clean and clean. And usually we'll give some homework, but I'm not going there. Maybe first when will come, we will give some other information so that you can get a bit of flavor of that software. You can download it and play around. Any question? Because we need to break, I guess I'm conscious of time, but we can come back and discuss more. So any key points, if anyone wants to comment anything?
See, we are talking about FGD. It is largely, especially DVC is struggling to contain NOx emissions. I think my research would help you. Like, I was studying sodium bicarbonate solution over the areas where NOx emission was high. So it could reduce the NOx to benign substances less than 0.06 seconds for the instant reaction. So this technology is adapted by Ion Exchange. They are offering dry powder sorbentation, dry sorbentation. Maybe you can try. So the installation facility costs a lot. Has it already been done?
Good. I think that's thanks for that. So maybe we break here today. And what 2 o'clock we are coming back? Or 2:30?
After that we can take one slot after taking break.
So how long you want to take break? How long?
Is this a lunch break?
No, tea break.
One more session. 1 hour.
1 hour.
So I think we come back. We kind of rehash what we have discussed, and then I'll take. It's kind of a start. Maybe tomorrow properly we'll start. What do you think? So 1 hour I'll spend some.